An easy play. Fresh dress, living large, German whips in my garage. Most my partners called the charge for all this love break out the bars. Fresh dress, living large, German whips in
Here's
my
Messi.
garage.
Away from 2, 3, 4. Wonderful.
These chicks be flocking.
All right, guys, welcome in. This is your Fielder's Choice, YFC. We here on our Sunday night stream, getting you ready for the Monday day of DFS. We got some team members aboard here. We have Mike Miz 23, we have Pete, and we have Dub Deuces 85, Walt joining us today. And want to welcome you in, gentlemen, and to our Twitch stream. We're going to be also appearing on YouTube for the drive-through in the morning for when you wake up and you want to catch us there. We are live right now. So, gentlemen, say hi. How are you doing this evening?
What's up, man? What's up?
It's good hearing from you. There you go, Pete. Hey, guys. So, listen, we're going to be covering the sports landscape here for Monday. I do want to talk a little bit in regards to your Fielder's Choice. And with that, like I said, we do have a really good giveaway at 20% off for your first 3 months on the subscription. So it's actually going to only cost you $40 at yourfielderschoice.com. That'll get you a premium subscription. It gives you access to all sports. It also has access to premium channels in Discord, which is one of the big benefits right now. With that, like I said, we are a free Discord, but you can jump in $40 a month. I mean, I don't know how much coffee you drink, but probably more than $40. And this is something for you to be able to jump in, be able to build your bankroll, your sports wagering portfolio, yourfielderschoice.com. I want you to check us out. Also available on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and give us click a like and a subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. With that, gentlemen, I want to kind of talk a little bit about our wagering team. We actually don't have any of the faces on here. These guys like to remain behind the scenes somewhat, but they are absolutely killing it right now. And I did want to cover that a little bit. Our sports wagering team right now, we do have a specific channel in our free Discord that is regarding sports wagering, but we do have an article out that does come out daily. It is updated quite a bit daily, and it is pretty much universal for all kinds of wagering platforms. So we do have some partnerships that we are going to talk about here, and you'll see some on our website. But our sports wagering team right now, currently, they're absolutely killing it. I wanted to talk about, they're actually up over 22 units right now. In regards to that, that's an 18.3% ROI. So if you're here and you're listening as a DFS player, but you've always wanted to, I guess, just expand your landscape, expand your DFS portfolio, check out our wagering articles. Like I said, we're here to help you. You have access in that free Discord to a lot of our coaches, and these guys are awesome. They're super sharp. They help us on the DFS side a lot of times with just being able to see different aspects of the game. And in turn, we help them. And kind of tying into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about another one of our affiliates in Prize Picks. Currently, right now, we do have a deal with Prize Picks. It is a promo code that is code YFC. And right now, that's going to give you a 25% deposit bonus. So if you deposit up to $1,000, you can get that free bonus. So 4,000 gets you 1,000, 100 gets you 25. You do the math. But Prize Picks, like I said, we're absolutely crushing that right now. I've seen, 75 to 100% on multiple nights of hitting these picks. And these come from our entire team, our wagering team, multiple coaches, myself. So this is something for you to be able to jump in on. It's a different way to play daily fantasy sports. There's a different aspect to that, but you can do a 2-pick, a 3-pick, and a 4-pick entry right now. And you can do a power play, flex pick. There's a lot going on with that, but our Prize Picks team and our Prize Picks channel is here to help you out with that. You will see that article as well as our wagering article posted daily, updated daily. So be sure to check us out, yourfielderschoice.com, and our affiliate Prize Picks code YFC. All right, guys. So with that, talking about Prize Picks, I know I was away a little bit this weekend. I got to spend some time with the wife. We did a little resort thing. I got to step away some from DFS. Obviously, she knows that I can't step away 100%, but I did my best. I know, Mike, I'm going to be bringing you in first, man, to talk some NBA, but I know you were off in the mountains, spending some time with family as well. So kind of trying to recharge the batteries. As you know, a lot of us here, like I said, we may work other jobs and do this full time as well. So we're quite busy. So it's always good to kind of, tune out for a little bit and just kind of spend some time and recharge the batteries. So Mike, man, how are you doing after your little getaway, man? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, man, just ready to get back to it. Can only stay away so long.
I get it, man. I know the feeling. So it's a blessing and a curse, man. So talking NBA, man, I know I've been able to watch a few games, obviously keeping an eye on my Rockets. With that and with NBA, what's going on in the bubble, we've seen some absolutely just stunning performances. My boy Luka Doncic is absolutely killing it. He had a game today. So give me a little bit about the DFS landscape in regards to NBA and kind of what we can expect for Monday.
It's been great thus far, and tomorrow we'll have all the cheap Orlando players again, which has been terrible, bad chalk for the most part.
Right.
Giannis has been going nuts, so we'll probably see that again. Every game tomorrow is a 2-1 series, except for the Indiana-Miami game, which is led by Miami 3-0. So there could be potential, towards the end of that game for some shorter minutes for some folks from the Miami side if they continue to win. But it looks like to be another good day of basketball.
Yeah, and I noticed you led right off the bat talking about the value on Orlando. I think that's one of the things that I've been trying to make sure to hit on, because I do feel like that's going to be the difference sometimes between cashing and not, is picking the right value. You're going to see a lot of guys projected for 5 to 6x in there, which is kind of really the sweet spot for NBA. Is there anybody on that Orlando team that you're so intrigued by that you feel like this is the value that I want, or you just got to kind of wait and see?
You got to kind of wait and see, especially because if Aaron Gordon plays, that's going to make a difference to the entire thing. But I'll say that Evan Fournier has been a disaster. He has been a disaster. Like, he doesn't even want to be there.
Yeah.
He looks slow. He looks tired. His jumper looks like he's barely even jumping. So, I mean, he'll probably be chalk. I haven't looked at his price yet, but I assume, because he was the other day. So, and I assume it went down too. So let's see.
And I'll just say, from a better personal aspect for him, I know he's a French player. His PSG guys, I'm sure he was watching Champions League. You know that they love soccer too. So these guys are athletes, and they got crushed today in that 1-0 Bayern defeat. So I'm sure he's not going to be feeling like showing up to work tomorrow. So that might be a great call by you, that he's not somebody you're targeting. Tell me a little bit about Giannis on the other side. Is he going to keep rolling, or are we looking at blowout potential?
Yeah, no, continue to play him. Even though they pretty much blew him out last game too, but he still got there. And if they're going to blow him out, it's because of him.
Yeah, he only has to get 55 to be right at 5x. So that's a good call, man. All right, talk to me a little bit about Houston, OKC. Anything stand out there?
Chris Paul's been playing pretty well. He's been carrying the team. If Steven Adams can rebound and Gallinari can hit his shots, OKC has a chance to win. But if Harden finally goes off, it's going to be curtains probably pretty early. But again, you'll probably see some chalk here. You'll probably see people chase Dennis Schroeder also.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I know Eric Gordon's been pretty good. I talked about him actually on our last stream, and he's had consistent 30-point games. He just now got to that $6,000 mark. So, I mean, you obviously are looking at him. He needs to hit that mark just to kind of hit his floor where we need him to be. Do you feel good about that, or do you think he's kind of getting to that kind of an iffy play zone?
I mean, when he's been a good play, but now at 6K, probably not going to prioritize him.
Right.
It's been consistent, but with Eric Gordon, you know that the bottom can fall out at any time. So we'll see. We'll see how the roster construction shakes out. Yeah.
And so only thing I do want to touch back on real quick before we move on to the next game. I know Steven Adams had his knee bruise, and he was looking at questionable. Is that going to affect Baisley more, or is that going to affect Nerlens Noel? I know Nerlens Noel a lot of people were just so excited because of the way the Rockets play, and he's going to be able to match up against them. Right. Is that something for us to just kind of keep an eye on? And maybe they're jumping into that free Discord to be able to keep an eye on, seeing what you're thinking, right?
Yeah, he'll be 100% owned if Adams is out. That's definite. But does affect Baisley, because Baisley's been playing more, and he's been playing somewhat decent. He had that one game, or there's two games rather, right before playoffs when they were resting guys. But
Right.
Yeah, I do expect him to get some more playing time.
All right, good. Fair enough. All right, so last two games we got Indiana, Miami, the bad blood game. I don't know if it's still bad blood. It doesn't look like we're seeing too much. I think it was something that was really hyped up. But I mean, you got Butler, you got T.J. Warren. What do you see in this Indiana Miami series that's kind of stood out to you, and what you're looking forward to going forward?
What number stands out to me is Bam Adebayo has not played to his ceiling yet, and he's going to. And
Right.
this is gonna. His price is still moderately, in the 7K range. He's going against Miles Turner for the most part.
Right.
This is a time when Bam should shine, and I expect him to finally kind of break out and get a really good game in.
Yeah. One of the things I've always liked about Bam is that he's never been a guy that I've worried about as a big, really fouling out a bunch. The later in his career, he seems that even if you look at his log, he's not the kind of guy that you're sitting on 5 fouls that you got to worry about reduced fourth quarter minutes. Like you said, he's not even 8K. He should be an 8K player easily. So I did definitely agree. I know with our top plays article that's going to be coming out, it's going to be available on the website, and you're going to see links dropped in our free Discord as well. But, staying with this NBA news, it's one of the things we keep preaching to you guys is that Mike and some other coaches are going to be able to drop this information. I know Porzingis, Kristaps was actually late scratch today. We were right on it, but I mean, it just happens sometimes. But there's not much you can do in regards to that. But the good thing is you got multiple people following, even our subscribers. They're actively involved. They're going to shoot something in there super quick. So that community aspect is key in NBA. LA Lakers, Portland Trailblazers. Let's round out with that, and then we'll talk a little bit about GPP.
I mean, obviously, this is the game everybody wants to watch for good reason. But Anthony Davis is still underpriced comparatively to the rest of the stars on the slate. So he presents a lot of value in that regard. Still, he had that game where he didn't appear to have played very well, but his fantasy game was still, up there and put you in contention.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I expect him to continue it. Hasn't scored less than 50 in forever. So let's keep it rolling and see if he can put a ceiling game together up in one of those 70-pointers.
Yeah. And, something that was weird last game is that he only shot 50% from the stripe, which is really odd. I was looking at that. I was just kind of like, he's a better free throw shooter than that. Even as a big guy, he's always been, 80% or more at least. I don't even know what his career numbers are. I don't want to misspeak there. But, I agree, man. If he was not paired with LeBron, you can guarantee he would be 12K like he always is. So totally agree on there. So if you're looking at some – go ahead. I'm sorry.
One thing, Melo, he's still the best value on Portland. TJ McCollum sucks. Carmelo is the second best play third best play next to Dame, Nurkic, and then Melo.
Okay. I want to talk real quick. Hassan Whiteside. I know he's kind of been a topic of conversation for a lot of people. He always comes up. Do we Whiteside or don't we Whiteside? Tell me your opinion real quick on Whiteside in regards to this specific series.
So he started last game and he sucked.
Yeah.
He's better coming off the bench in this series, but it just depends what it can do for them.
Yeah.
It's not a good matchup for him though. It's just not good. It's not good. If Nurkic went down, he would be a great play. But the fact that Nurkic is on the court most of the time, it's just not Whiteside's game. It's not.
Yeah, 100% agree. So rounding it out, man, if we're talking about GPP, obviously we want to cover your mismatches article that comes out, GPP covering multiple tournament plays for different sports in regards to obviously just NBA. I know you target a little different positions, different players to kind of get away. But if I don't want to go over the whole slate in every position, what are maybe some leverage spots? If you had a team stack that you're looking at, you talked a little bit about Orlando value. I feel like that's going to be more chalky, which means more high owned in most cash games. Where's a team that you're like, man, I really think we have some leverage here in regards to GPP?
Well, I'll say this: well, 2 points. Number one, to answer your question, it would be the Miami Heat because they have a handful of guys that they're all seemingly the same player: Tyler Hero,
Right.
Duncan Robinson, those guys, Crowder, Iguodala. Those guys can present some value for you.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of picking the right one, of course.
absolutely.
And then also, people love to chase what happened the last game and just assuming that it's going to be the same. Don't follow that rule. In some respects, it does. Maybe some superstars and so forth, but a lot of the key, mid-range price guys, role players, that's not really what you want to do. You want to take a little bit closer look and see why they did what they did and how they did it, rather than just blindly following the box scores.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like you were touching, and don't just look at the box scores. If you're going to look at a box score, look at it deeper. Look at, are they scoring a lot by just scoring in general points wise, which isn't sustainable? Is it an unusually high number of steals or blocks or something like that? So a lot of those things kind of tie into that. So that's, excellent info, man. I totally agree with you on Miami. Is there anything else before we jump off NBA that you wanted to touch on?
There's a Danny Green game coming. I'm not sure when it is. It might be this week, or it might be tomorrow. It might be the next game, but it's coming.
All right. That's one we're going to keep a look on, man. I appreciate that. So, I know some of our guys out there in the chat literally only look at box scores, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we're doing our due diligence at YFC. So, Mike Miz 23, man, we're going to be looking for your mismatches article. And of course, I know you contribute to top plays and different things like that. And of course, prize picks, man. We appreciate your time. I know you're going to hang around a little bit, but we're going to jump off and kind of transition over to League of Legends with Walt, Dub Deuces 85. I know right now for League of Legends, it's going to be one of those playoff times. It gets exciting. We got a lot going on in regards to, who's in, who's out. I know he's kind of kept us up to date. And I know we have on tomorrow, 11 a.m., we have the EU Masters. Is that tomorrow? Yeah, it is tomorrow, Walt. So are you ready for that, brother?
Oh, absolutely, man. But just when people were thinking that, LCK regular season split ended, playoffs are starting to wind down a lot of regions. Maybe they thought, I'm going to get a little break of, Worlds are coming up, recharge. But no, EU Masters is starting. People may be asking what EU Masters is. Basically, this is like Academy Europe, like LCS has that academy that we played, right? LEC has their own academy too. So a lot of these teams are from academy leagues for LEC. And then different other smaller regions around Europe that don't qualify or aren't, bigger regions, I guess. And there's a lot of former LEC players, former bigger region players in this tournament trying to make their way back. So that's what this will be. And it's pretty exciting because, this type of thing is, we're always talking about edge or niches within niches. This is definitely one of the, tournaments that if you're not like a diehard, LOL fan, you're not going to know, who's on LDLC or Vodafone Giants. What is that? Who are these guys?
Right.
So, so it's going to be a big edge. I'm going to be doing a preview, a little different than what we normally do. We have the stats up and stuff. I'm going to be going team by team. It's a round robin style tournament at first. Kind of highlighting a few players, give some stats, kind of just break it down like that. So there's going to be a lot of information when this comes out later this evening.
Absolutely. And I wanted to kind of touch base on this, is that I think that if you're listening to this live stream or you're listening it to the on the YouTube channel in the morning, this is an absolute perfect time to jump in with us because there's a ton of edge. There's no game logs. Most of these guys have never been even talked about in the League of Legends circles because they're not followed. So I know Walt's going to help us with that, kind of navigate some of this stuff together. And these are the times you want to jump in on these things because you can just crush at the beginning because there's no data out there really. So I just wanted to lead with that because I think this is an excellent time for people to jump into League of Legends.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'll highlight on here a couple of the teams that you'll want to, keep in the back of your mind for if you're, short on time or you quickly peruse through or you're throwing a lineup together. LELC is the team that won the Spring EU Masters. They're a team that they went 13-3 in the last event, had the most kills with 244 kills. So they had to play in their league. They got third, so they had to play their way in, but they won all but one game in the play-in. So they're going to be a very popular team for anybody who's played before. They're actually in the same group as Kick Neosurf, who they played in the finals of spring last year, or in the springtime, I should say. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But I won't overload you guys with hey, play this guy, but definitely in the article you're going to want to read that in the morning. I'll be around in the premium chat room giving you guys plays, or if you have any last minute questions or help with your builds. You're going to be very detailed in this. Chris did this for us in the spring before I got with you guys. And I heard that you guys killed it. And this was before I was into LOL a little bit, but I was still relatively new to the DFS part of it. And I was crushing it too. And that was before I really knew a lot. So I feel very confident that we're going to be able to give the subs the information that they need to do well. So looking forward to it for sure. Tomorrow starts with a 6-game. There's actually a broken up slate. It's a 6-gamer tomorrow. If that's a little overwhelming for you, there is a 3-game late. We've been playing a lot of 2 and 3 game slates lately, but this is going to allow you to be a little more unique. It's a 10. What is it? It's a big a 10K to first tournament tomorrow. The $10 or $15 price point. So if you're looking to get into that, you don't want to tie with 15 or 20 people. You have an opportunity to make some money at the EU Masters here. So
yeah, absolutely. All right,
so prize picks. There's probably going to be some prize picks for it. We've been doing pretty well with prize picks, all of us. Today's the first time I whiffed on my pick in like all week, man. I gotta eat that one, unfortunately. But as a group, we've all been doing really well. So I hope you guys have been taking advantage.
Yeah, we're relying on you to actually go 100%, Walt. So you can't whiff anymore, buddy. We need.
No, that was my one.
No,
I got 99.999.
There you go. That's all that matters. But no, you're absolutely right. We've been crushing on there, and I think that it's excellent, especially on prize picks, because there's a lot of an edge there, especially whenever you see a certain prop and you're just like, this is not right, and sometimes that'll stand out to us. And we've jumped in our premium. That's a benefit, obviously, to being in our premium Discord. If you're able to jump into that and get the 20% off discount, but being in that premium, you guys are the first to know, like, hey man, does not sound right, this isn't in the article, jump on it. So talk to me a little bit about this slate. Where's some spots that we can target, even if we're not going game by game, but some teams that you like and some players that you're looking at?
Yeah, so right away, as most people do, they look at odds and stuff, and right away, a team that did really well in the spring and cruised through their summer league was Fnatic Rising. That's obviously, if you've been following LEC's academy team for Fnatic, Fnatic team in LEC, they're plus 123 against Gamers Origin, who is minus 164. Both teams were in the spring EU Masters tournament. Both did really well. They made it to the knockout stage. So seeing that, you're going to have a little bit of an edge just because they're priced so cheaply. So that is Gamers Origin. Sorry, my puppy's in the background there.
No,
Gamers Origin is a really good team, but Fnatic's Rising is a team that really adapts to this type of meta. We've talked a lot about aggressive teams, on 10.16 doing well. They're a team that pushes team fights. They don't care about his objectives as much. They play a lot like the Rogue Warriors from the LPL, actually. So that's a spot that I like the underdog. Mouse Esports will probably end up being a popular team because they're such large favorites. They're actually the biggest favorites on the slate at minus 909 against Intrepid Vox Gaming. So expect to see them probably pretty popular if you're playing cash games or whatever. I would probably stay away from them if you're playing tournaments just because of that. And then the team that did really well last year was the Movie Star Riders against Rogue or RGO.
I remember
that's a
those
team
guys.
that I would want to. Yeah. So you played it. So they have a mid laner by the name of Zico that had a really high kill share last in the spring, and has played really, really well. And their AD carry, Jabba, he's really high kill share too. So they do a lot of work in their bot lane. So those are the two teams that I, looking at it at a glance and giving you guys an initial preview, those are the two teams that stick out to me initially.
And I think that the Movie Star was, I think, the top team out of Spain. I'm pretty sure they were there. They were there at the end. I know they were at least, I think, Final Four or something like that. But I think that there's a lot of country pride into this. It's very much like a European, even like soccer. It's like you have, France, you have, Spain. It's like they're legit like, hey man, we want to beat these cats. Like we want to be the best team out of this country or whatever it is. So I think there's a little bit of that in there as well. You're not facing any of the, teams from Korea or, or China or anything like that. But so I think it's a different type of play. Are we facing, is this like a single game or these best of three right now with the round robin?
Yeah, so these will be just a best of one. So anything can and will happen. And there's each team will play a set of games. The top 2 teams from each group will move on to the knockout stage, where it'll be a strictly a win and move on, lose and you're out type of thing. So we'll get slates all week, which was nice. Last in the spring they did like broken up slates all throughout the day. You had like a main, a middle, and a late. It looks like they're going to be doing that, but it's cool that we have a 6-gamer because we haven't had that in a long time. So expect scores to probably be pretty dang high in GPPs because typically with the bigger slate, you get a lot higher scores. So I'm just looking forward to it overall. I think we're going to have a big edge. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of information to internalize and digest. And I think this first slate that we can really knock it out of the park.
Okay. So one thing before we switch over is that I know there's a lot, and I feel like you have to read this article. Like if you really want to be prepared for this, and your dog would agree with me, is that you got to read the article, man. You got to know the breakdown. And I think that's the great thing about how you do write is that it just show this element of like, hey, I'm just going to kind of walk you through what my thought process is, not just give you a couple plays and expect you just to, here you go, swim in the deep end per se. So I do want to implore you, if you're listening, please read the article. We will have free content available all week long. I can't tell you exactly where it's going to be. We have been doing a freebie Friday, though, here at YFC, where we've had tons of free content on there as well. So if you're just thinking about it, you're trying to get in, you got your toes in the water, come in. The water is warm. Walt got you taken care of on League of Legends. Before we step over, talk about a build strategy in regards to 1-game slates and it being, 1-game matches, best of 1, and a 6-game slate. What are you looking at doing here? I know there's not a lot of data here. So what is kind of your approach?
So I'm going to play it a lot like with the LCS, LEC, best of 1 that we just experienced. It's something that you can take like, punt. We talk a lot about this in articles and stuff, but in best of 1, you can punt the team spot a lot of times. So if you're trying to do like the AD carry or the mid laner as a captain, you can't always do that if you take 2 of the favorites. So you either have to go for an underdog or go down and say like, here's a team spot. Movie star writers tomorrow are 4K because they're playing RGO, who's a really good team. But from playing the spring that they're good. So I wouldn't mind playing them in the team spot because even if they lose, you're still looking at a potential for 10 to 12 fantasy points. And in best of 1, most teams that win on average get like 18 to 20. The really good teams that blow it out the park, they'll get a 26 in a 1 game. So there's only like a 6 or 7 point difference. Whereas if you punt, with a mid laner from an underdog and they lose, they're going to get like 3 points if you're lucky. So then that's a big difference. The winning mid laner is going to have 30 to 40. So you can make it up with punting the team spot a lot of times. I love doing jungler captains in these best of 1s. Usually in this meta, top laners has been really a successful captain. But in this league, with the pricing the way it is, you're not going to have to get too crazy like that. Junglers are very aggressive in Europe, especially in EU Masters for the spring. Junglers were going nuts. Tinks for LDLC. He's not on this slate, but he will be on the next one. You guys can hear me talk about him. I don't know why he's not in the LEC yet. That guy, he was definitely the MVP of their run last in spring. Yeah, Tinks he's a crazy carry, like bar none. He could be in the LEC. I don't know why he's not yet. But yeah, so junglers in this are really you want to definitely focus and prioritize them. So that's kind of where my build is going to be. And with the article too, if you haven't played LOL yet, or your NBA is kind of winding down and all this other stuff, and you want to get involved, we don't necessarily spoon feed you plays, but I'll definitely walk you through and say, hey, Vodafone Giants, here's what they do really well at. If it's objective control, and I'll explain what that means. Hey, this guy has a kill share of 40%. Here's what that means. So I'm gonna really try to go game by game like I do, and go even more in depth for you. And I'll talk to Devin, and maybe we can make that free to get it on more eyeballs on it. And you guys can see, because I think there's only going to be maybe 1 or 2 other content providers that have EU Master. So I definitely want to start this, off on the right foot.
Absolutely, man. And I appreciate all the knowledge. You've already got me kind of looking and peeking down there. I do love that Fanatics rising pricing. I'm glad you pointed that out. So I'm going to be digging in. I'll be sure to check out the article along with everyone else, man. And I want to thank you for your time. I know, we still got a lot of stuff, in regards to League of Legends. It's pretty much a year-round thing. They take a small break here and there, but I know you're heavily involved with WNBA and multiple other sports along with Prize Picks as well. Hopefully we get it legal where you're at soon. I know that you would highly appreciate that one. So, like I said, we want to, we want to get you in on that, man. But it is obviously available in most states right now, so be sure to check that out. We're going to turn it over to MLB. I want to thank you, Walt, and I want to bring in Pete here. We're going to talk a little bit about our Monday slate, maybe some kind of recap of what Pete's been seeing in regards to GPP or just how MLB has been turning out. I know that there's been obviously a mixed bag of results in regards to not how we're performing, because I feel like the team is crushing, but I do see some nights where chalk is just absolutely going off, and then some days where you're just like, the scores are low because everybody is, trying to play these high ownership guys, and then they're just not showing up. So luckily we have a great team. Pete, I want to thank you. I want to bring you in here. I know that you're heavily involved in the MLB writing in regards to the top plays, your Sneaky Pete segment down at the bottom of top plays, and contributing to all of our prize picks and our daily chats in there, man. You're a busy guy. How you feeling, man, this evening?
What's up, Al? How you doing? Doing good.
I'm good, man.
Getting ready for a big 7-game, well, I wouldn't say real big, 7-game slate tomorrow. But exactly what you were talking about, it's been weird because Saturday was a chalk. When you played chalk, you ended up almost last place in 50-50s. So you played chalk, you got 50% Kyle Schwarber, and he hits a home run. So
yeah,
it's been that kind of season.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but we got to grind it out. I think it's different right now with the pandemic. It's changed a lot of things. You're looking at expanded rosters, people on these taxi squads that they're carrying. And so you're seeing a very different shift in, I guess, pitching and how that's approached. I know I write my On the Mound article, obviously being away this weekend. I missed doing that. It'll be back for tomorrow, available on the website on Monday, covering specifically pitching. But I do know you cover the whole spectrum, pitching, hitting, spots that you like, value that you like. So if you're looking at something and you're playing MLB, without talking about the slate yet, as a new player, what are some things that you should be preparing yourself to do in regards to lineup building?
The main thing, this is, especially this year, unless you got a big time ace like we actually do tomorrow night, I don't really think you need to be spending up on pitching. We were finding out that if you go mid-level, or even if you get one of these youngsters with $5,400 and pair them up with a higher level guy, you're doing fine. So I think the days of running a $12,000 ace is almost over with, unless you're running Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, exactly. So, just kind of transitioning into that, tell us what you like on pitching tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow's obviously is Trevor Bauer night, and if you're playing a FanDuel or DraftKings, he's got to be SP1. He's by far the elite pitcher. I actually just read he's off the trading block too. So it looks like the Reds are, I think they're like half a game out of the playoffs. So it looks like the Reds are going to go for it, and he's off the block. So that's probably going to give him a little bit of incentive tomorrow too. So he's not pitching worried. He's 3-0. He's got a .68 ERA. And here's a guy, he's thrown 26 innings. He's got 41 Ks, only 7 walks. So that's a .57 whip. That's elite. And he's going against a team that we all like to pick on this year for pitchers is Milwaukee. They're a bad team right now. They're a bad team against right-handers. And even at home, I think they're even worse sitting at home. At home right now, the whole team only got a 168 ISO. So
they're bad, man.
They're really bad. And the only guy that you'd be worried about right now is Manny Pena. He's the top. He's the only guy that's got an ISO over 300 against righties. And Christian Yelich, the star, has got a 222 ISO and a 280 WOBA. So, everything lines up in a perfect storm for Trevor Bauer tomorrow night.
Yeah. He's starting to look like Miami Marlins Christian Yelich whenever he was coming up, man. It's really weird because, you're seeing the batting average. You see the home runs are there, but, that OPS and everything, it's just – he's striking out. There's a lot wrong with this team right now. I don't think that anybody would have predicted that you would be talking about the Brewers and just as a team that we're going to pick on, a team that's striking out. They're well over a 30% average, I think, as a team in the strikeout. And
it's 30% clip right now.
God, that's ridiculous. You're talking about bad teams when we're talking about traditionally like the Rangers, sometimes the Tigers, high strikeout, the White Sox, teams that strike out a lot, but they still have some power here and there. The Brewers are striking out a lot, and they're not hitting. So, you really have to look at it, just disregard the name and just say, okay, this is the numbers. The numbers are right. Let me make this play. And numbers don't lie. People do. So, all right. Tell me what else on pitching that you're looking at that you've seen that you just kind of stood out. You're like, this kind of intrigues me a little bit.
Tomorrow's it seems like every time we would do one of these live streams, it's a pitching night, and tomorrow the same way.
Yeah.
There's a few pitchers. I mean, you got Brad Keller. I didn't realize Brad Keller, he's 3-0. He's got a 0.00 ERA. He hasn't given up an earned run yet this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, his last start was against the Reds. He went 6 1/3 innings. I think he gave up 3 hits. And now he's going in. I mean, he's in a good spot. He's going against St. Louis tomorrow night, against Flaherty, who's still being stretched out. So they're taking him along slowly. But you got a few decent pitchers. You got Savali going. Lance Lynn, who's having a good year for Texas.
Yeah, he's
team.
sub 9K, which is really weird. I was like,
yeah,
it just
he's
seems like
good.
a misprice, man.
He's having one of his better years. He's their ace. And then the one guy I'm still interested in a lot is Kenta Maeda, and he's the right-hander from Minnesota, and he's having a really good year quietly. 31 innings, he's got 33 Ks and only 6 walks. In other words, got a whip of .63. And kind of like Milwaukee, Cleveland's kind of in the same boat. I mean, you used to think of Cleveland as a big hitting team. Well, this year against righties, I mean, the whole team's got a 216 batting average and a 124 ISO, and they strike out 25% clip.
Yeah.
So you get behind Reyes is probably Cleveland's biggest bat. I mean, he's having actually a really good year, especially with some split stats. But nobody else. I mean, Carlos Santana's got a .66 ISO. I mean, that's bad. J-Ram has only got a 143 ISO against righties. So, I mean, Cleveland, same thing as Milwaukee. I mean, you just don't look at names, look at stats, and he should be able to walk over him tomorrow.
Yeah, and I was kind of looking at some of the names on there. I know I mentioned before, even in a GPP setting, but like Framber Valdez, he's just a great pitcher for Houston. He may not be in an ideal spot against the Angels, but the reality is the guy just induces a ton of ground balls. I mean, he pitched in Coors and he did hella good. So, you're talking about that mid-range. If you can only afford a Trevor Bauer and you're going to come down and you're not going to go double aces because you want to get some bats, you're going to need one of these guys below 8K probably to fill out your roster. So these are some things. I know Casey Mize, he had a pretty good showing. He's probably still limited on his pitch count. But even like an Alec Mills, he could be a great GPP option against the Tigers. So I think there's a lot. I have a feeling like my article is going to be a lot longer than normal just because there's so many spots to kind of cover. But kind of getting off of the pitchers, I want to move into bats. Tell me what you're seeing tomorrow. Who are some plays that you're really loving?
Well, and to kind of lead into bats, you just brought up Framber Valdez, and he's actually, in the last 27 innings, he's only given up 3 earned runs. So they're playing against the Angels, and it's like him and Patrick Sandoval go in 2 different directions. Sandoval has given up 11 earned runs and 16 hits in his last 16 innings.
Right.
So both teams are struggling at the plate. So this is to me, tomorrow is a get right day for the Astros. And that leads me into probably my biggest bat of the day tomorrow is Yuli Gurriel. I like him a lot tomorrow. I mean, Sandoval said he's 0-3 in 20 innings. He's only got 14 Ks, I think maybe 4 walks. His last game against the Giants, he only threw 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. He only struck out 1 batter, walked 2. So Gurriel is coming into this game against the left-hander. Since July 29th, he's only won 3 games without a hit. So he's like your perfect cash plane for DFS. And he's got 11 hits. In his last 8 games, he's got 11 hits in his last 8 games. And he's running at a clip of 536 WOBA, 432 ISO, and the best is his hard contacts 48. So Gurriel just leads the charge of all these Astros tomorrow. Like Kyle Tucker, I mean, he's got. I mean, that's your boy, and he's going reverse tomorrow. But even reverse splits, he's got 377 WOBA, 276 ISO. So I mean, he's in a perfect spot as long as he's at the top of the order.
Yeah, he's sub 4K still. Well, you got to look at the top of the order. I mean, like Gurriel, everybody's going to have a good lineup spot. We got Bregman on the IL, Jordan's out for the year, so these guys are all going to have to shift up. And the way Tucker's hitting right now, they can't keep him out of a top 5 spot for long. And they're going to have to move Altuve up. So you're probably looking at Springer leading off. You'll get Reddick, maybe Tucker batting second in there. I do think that looking at Sandoval's numbers, if I can remember right, he was reverse splits a little bit. So I could be wrong on that, but he's been kind of bad all around. So he's going to be somebody definitely to target.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this whole lineup, Maldonado, the catcher. I mean, this guy's a 495 but that whole team, you're not even talking about Jose Altuve and Springer. So I mean, this is a definitely get right spot for the Astros tomorrow. They have been struggling at the plate, but I mean, Patrick Sandoval to me is like the perfect medicine that team needs to get going again.
Okay, perfect. What other spots are we looking at in regards to bats?
Mike, I guess it'd be kind of a sneaky play tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's my sneaky play of the day, but I kind of like Cole Calhoun tomorrow night too. They're going against Colorado. Ryan Castellini, who's a right-hander. Now he's pitched mostly in cores this year. Out of his 14 innings pitched, he's only pitched 10 innings in 10 innings in cores. I'm sorry, 4 innings outside of cores. But I mean, he hasn't a bad season. I mean, he's 14 innings. He's struck out 11, 4 walks. But you got Calhoun's coming as a lefty, a veteran lefty.
Mm-hmm.
And I like his price on DK is 3.5. His price on FanDuel is 3.1. And he's got 7 homers and 17 RBIs against righties this year. So he's leading off, and that's a very veteran lineup now. I kind of like this Diamondbacks lineup. Sterling Marte, he's another one who's got a high WOBA. David Peralta, he's been around for years. We all know him. He hasn't forgotten how to hit. He's hitting a 347 WOBA since last year, 357. So I see that lineup tomorrow waking up too, and they should be able to hit Castellini. So my second lineup is kind of a sneaky lineup. It's the Diamondbacks, led by Cole Calhoun.
Yeah, and I know they do usually give this information out. I don't see anything currently about the roof being open or closed, but it is on MLB.com. They do have all that information is actually available. So we're going to want to keep an eye out for that, because if that roof is open, I do know you have very, very good hitting weather. Calhoun's one of the highest fly ball rates on the team. He just has an elevated swing, and he gets the ball up in the air in this spot. I mean, that's going to pay off his salary. He hits an RBI double. That's going to pay him off real quick. So
yeah,
that's
at 3,500. I mean,
Yeah.
looking back at last week, his DK points are 16, 27, 16, 21, 2, 16. I bet you very few people know that's coming from Cole Calhoun. So for $3,500, I mean, sign me up and slide him right in or some of those Astros.
Yep.
I mean, you can make a decent lineup tomorrow night and win some good pitching tomorrow.
All right. And so, I mean, you've kind of given us some value spots. What is your favorite pay up outside of the Astros, like in regards to salary? Who are you looking at that you're just like, you know what? I don't really care what he costs. This is the guy I want to play. Who is that for you right now?
I think actually tomorrow I like Nicky Castellanos. He's probably one of my favorite players. He's in a good spot tomorrow. And what I like about him, he's got that 369 WOBA. He's got 72% hard contact.
Wow.
And he's going against, Brett Anderson. To me, he's a gas can.
Yeah.
He's got a 3.71 ERA this year. He's 1-2. And Nicky's is a perfect spot. I mean, a lot of those Reds, Matt Davidson, a righty, should be in a good spot tomorrow. He's in a cheap value play. And even Winker is some reverse splits. So, I mean, I think Castellanos, and I also like Anthony Rendon tomorrow too for the Angels.
Yeah. I was looking at a couple of different plays on here and everything, and it just kind of stands out to me whenever I see it, but I feel like we never hear a lot about Anthony Rizzo, yet he's always priced above 5K. He's only hitting 213 right now. If I'm looking at someone that is, I want to, if I as a player and I'm playing cash games and I saw him and I saw his stats, his game log and everything, I would probably just pass. Is he one of those guys just being just a professional hitter? Do you feel you have confidence in players like that? I mean, we talked about Yelich a little bit, but these guys that that have hit, like, what do we need to see out of them before you play them?
Well, that was my problem. Last night, Eddie Rosario, who's been around for a while, it's a guy sitting, I think, about 220, and I refused to play him. And I even saw when he was owned probably 45% cash games. I made a major mistake last night, and he went off and had 3-run homer to lead up Saturday night's game. So, no, you got a guy, Anthony Rizzo, professional hitter. He's going to come around. It's a weird season. He's an excellent hitter. Yeah, you play those guys, maybe cash. If he's high ownership, yeah, definitely. Kyle Schwarber's another one today. So, he's been around too, and he's hitting terrible right now, but he ended up hitting a home run today. So, you need him in your lineups.
All right, good, fair enough. So, I do know we have some prize picks up tomorrow. That's something that you do contribute to as well. I want to make sure that they keep an eye on that. Obviously, when you're looking at something on that and you just see good spots, you talked about Castellanos. He's at 8.0 tomorrow. Is that something that seems like just too good of a spot to pass up? Because, one home run, pays that off real quick on Prize Picks. So, is there anything that you've looked at? I mean, because I want to read real quick just the
Yeah, I
scoring
didn't even know
points.
I didn't know Prize Pick was up. Yeah, if you get a
Yeah,
chance,
they just now
who's they
popped
at?
out. They got, so, but just so we know, singles 3, doubles 5, a triples 8, a home runs 10, runs 2, RBIs 2, bases on balls 2, hit by pitch 2, stolen bases are actually 5. So, looking at that, just kind of going in what we have for tomorrow, I know that some spots that you kind of talked about, you got guys like I talked about Rizzo. He's at 8. We talked about, well, we got to kind of wait and see, but Yelich is only at 6 tomorrow. That's kind of low. And that might be something that to take a look at there. I do know we have, we have Castellanos is at 8. You've already mentioned that you like him, but we got an Astro on there. We do have George Springer at 8.5, and Mike Trout is always somebody to look at. He's only at 8.5 against Valdez, so there's a good chance that Mike Trout, if he sees him a couple times and he doesn't do max damage, maybe he gets a walk or a hit, he can see somebody in that bullpen. And I'll tell you right now, the
Yeah,
Astros bullpen has not been that great. And I think that
that's a good
people
spot.
overlook bullpens there, but yeah, and then we talked about the stolen bases a little bit about guys that contribute in that aspect as well. I do know Whit Merrifield's on there. I wanted to talk about him. He's only at 6.5. The guy, if you're looking at him, he's been hitting really well. I mean, I don't know what he did tonight, but Whit's been that. You always talked about these guys that are professional hitters. He hits at the top of that lineup. He sees 5 at bats. Is he somebody that intrigues you at all in regards to outside
He's
of Price
6'5".
Picks?
If he's 6'5" against Flaherty, definitely because Flaherty's probably going to go 3 innings at the most. So
Yeah.
this is big. I mean, this year's becoming almost, if anybody played KBO this year, this is almost becoming KBO. It's becoming 2 games. You got four innings with your starter. Most of these starters are out by the 5th inning. So you get 2 or 3 shots at the bullpen, and that's where guys like Trout are going to capitalize, or Fernando Tatis, who can also get you stolen bases. Tatis, I think, is always a good Prize Picks play.
Yeah, and I know Flaherty's on the mound against him tomorrow, but just on DK, I mean, he's been his game today, he had 8. He's at 5.3 tomorrow. His last games are 8, 11, 14, 12, 10, 3, 3, 28. So, I mean, a couple games in there, he didn't goose egg you. He got you a single or whatever he got you for 3 points. I mean, the guy's he's hitting, and he's always been a good hitter. So he has speed on the base pass, somebody I like as well there. But yeah, man. So we're going to be looking out for your top plays article, your Sneaky Pete segment. Obviously, you're doing the live chats on there. About when can we expect those on Discord?
The live chat's usually at 5:00. 2 hours before lock. I try to get the article out probably about 4 o'clock, hopefully 3:30, 4 o'clock. So you can take a look at the article for the chat. There's lots of the chat. I'm going through the article, and then I'm also using our cheat sheet too. So kind of get a best of both worlds. You get my article plus some ownership plays. So, and pretty much anybody that listens to the chat is cashing. I mean, I get DMs from guys all day. I mean, showing me their lineups. I mean, I saw a lot of them already today.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, I made a major mistake today. I sat on the rooftop and praised Ryu Darvish and said, you got to play him. I ended up going Carrasco today. So all the guys listening to chat cashed.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah. I know. I
loved
loved you. I'm always a big U fan. I always just playing for his strikeout equity. But I did want to touch before we get off of MLB is that you talked about our cheat sheet. This does apply to all of our sports. Our cheat sheet is actually available on our website at yourfielderschoice.com. We have links in our free Discord as well. But our cheat sheet is excellent material. It's easy to follow. It's almost an instant catch if you just follow it the right way. It's color coded. It's going to make it easy to where you're following the green plays. You're staying away from the red. But if you're using that and coupled with our articles and, of course, the chats, I mean, you're in great hands here at Your Fielder's Choice. So, Pete, I appreciate you, man. I know it's getting later there on the East Coast, and we'll be looking forward to some good MLB stuff for you tomorrow, brother.
Hey, one more thing about this cheat sheet.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and I've probably seen every cheat sheet in the industry. And I'm not just saying it because it's our site, but this cheat sheet is by far, I mean, the simplest cheat sheet, but the most detailed. And if you run that cheat sheet, these guys are cashing every night. So I'm not just tooting our horn, but I mean, coming straight from the heart. This is by far the best baseball cheat sheet I've seen in years. So
yeah, 100%. And I've never been a big cheat sheet person until I started actually kind of looking at it. I like to I do my own research, and then I kind of look and say, okay, let me see where I'm at in regards to, oh, you know what, we're on almost the same place. So
Right.
I feel good about that. You know, I mean, that's a good way to make you a better player too. Like if you feel like you're listening to this and you're not part of our team, you're not subscribing to us, but you're not cashing, you're just, oh man, I want to try something new. I want to see what's out there. But I'm telling you, we have a team that's dedicated to make you better as a DFS player and the sports wagering department, whatever it is. We're here to help you and coach you along that way. We're not selling lineups. We don't have a secret formula. It's literally hard work and us showing you kind of the way that we're doing it. We're just trailblazing in front of you, and we're here to give you some great information, some great advice, and brought to you by a great community in our free Discord. So Pete, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for all the information and knowledge. You're killing it, brother, and we appreciate everything you do.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, man. So just want to kind of close out our stream, guys. We're very thankful for you to be able to spend time with us. I want to give a shout out to our team that is behind the scenes, Mickey, our producer, our wagering team, Devin, we have Wes, Chris, these guys that are not always on the stream, but they're contributing in so many different aspects and different parts. There's a lot of stuff we don't talk about on the stream that we do. We do tennis, we do MMA, all the NASCAR stuff. I mean, that stuff is constantly having tons of traction, and the website is great for you to bounce around. Give it a try. Like I said, it's 20% off your first 3 months. It's good to kind of jump in and say, hey, you know what? Let me just see what it's all about. You can obviously, cancel after a month. You don't like it. I think we even have different options. You can just kind of search on there. You can see some of our affiliates down there, our linked Twitch stream, our linked Discord, and of course, anything that we are doing in regards to promotions. So you see us at the top, yourfielderschoice.com. If you check in, you're listening to this and you look at the bottom of our screen, right down there, you'll see our Twitter handles, and you can reach out to us with this free Discord. You're going to have access to all your coaches and team members, and of course, any admin staff as well. We're available to you on there. That's one great part about our community. So I do want to talk a little bit about, we have an affiliate with PointsBet. Right now, PointsBet is a new way to do your sports wagering that actually does reward you for those traditional bets, but wagering more on, against the spread, or just different ways to reward you from taking a little bit of a risk there. Right now, PointsBet.yourfielderschoice.com, you have 4 risk-free bets up to $1,000. We do have linked code YFC is the promo that we're offering with PointsBet. You do have to be 21 years of age. And right now, like I said, it is available, that promo for New Jersey residents. Keep a lookout for other states as they're going to be growing fast, and we want to jump aboard that. And of course, like I said, we have our other affiliates that we mentioned before. With that, like I said, guys, we do have a lot coming up. NFL is about to hit us. You're going to be seeing some NFL previews in regards to divisions. We're going to talk a little bit about best ball, which is very new to DFS, but it's something that is being offered on the site. So we're going to help you with that, and we're going to cover that. So this is Your Fielder's Choice. This is V12. Adam, and we're going to be signing out, guys. Have a great Monday. Have a great night if you're listening to us live, and be safe on the way to work, and let's win some money together.
German whips, fancy cars, they play the game, but they know who the champions are. Every time we pull up, it's like a damn bazaar. They scream our name, try to get us on the camera. Flashing lights, though I ain't the flashy type. I just push a big whips with the fastest pipe. Can't match his price. Model nigga catch for life, but I still never pay the full package price and fuck the law.